Bringing in the 60s and early 70s. I graduated from high school in 72. I attended Catholic school K through 12 kind of deal. So I grew up enjoying the city and what it had to offer and enjoying my family and, normal teenager.
So, who has been the greatest influence in your life that has impacted the woman you are today?
Well, I guess actually I'd say two people in my past, as in my upbringing, my father and my grandmother, his mom.
Okay. And so, can you tell us of your education history and what your goals or life ambition was when you were a student in college?
Uh, I actually didn't have any goals when I was in college because I didn't know what to do. I was the first of, am and slash was the first of my family to graduate from college. My sister attended, but she never finished. And so my mom, high school graduate, my dad not, kind of deal. So I went away to school not really knowing what I wanted to do, and I didn't have any real guidance in that area. It was always put to me that I was going to college. It was just not how things were going to work out when I got there. That part hadn't been discussed. So I tease, tell my students my transcript, my undergraduate transcript looks like a patchwork quilt because I started out University of Wisconsin, and then I joined the military, and then every place that I was stationed, pretty much I attended college. And so it wasn't until I'm very much a grown woman, married, and all of that, coming here as an Air Force dependent wife at that point, that I started to sort of figure out what it is that I wanted to do. And mass communications found me.
So, can you tell us of your job experience prior to attending Delaware State University?
Well, I'm happy to say my experience in mass comm is long and diverse. So I've had, I started out in radio, which I'd actually done some radio in college. And so radio news, and then I went on to television news, and then I went on to do PR, and then I went on to do editing newspapers and freelancing as a writer for magazines and newspapers. Even in my volunteer work, I produced a radio show for the Dover Arts Council, and I was on that committee by mayoral appointment, and so that was a very cool experience. And then I did some features producing for another radio station. I was teamed with an ad exec, and it was for me to come up with the creative concepts and for her to go out and sell those to potential sponsors. I worked a lot in public relations, in and out in government, public affairs, publicist, public information officer for Del Tech, Del Dot, governor's office, morale, welfare, and recreation at Dover Air Force Base. And then I started also doing I got recruited or by my producer at Comcast, and I don't remember who told me about the opportunity, but I approached him, and they wanted to add a female sportscaster to their broadcast, much in the way that ESPN at that time was starting to do. So I started as a sideline, courtside reporter for football and basketball games, primarily high school and football. And I was doing parade commentaries. They offered me an opportunity to do a talk show, so I started doing that, and I started associate producing the show. I learned that it's important; these titles and things are important because they say what the depth of your participation is, and so forth. So, I mean, I've actually done quite a bit. I don't want to just go on and on and on, but I enjoy mass communications, radio, television, print. I started a production company a handful of years ago, so I'm working on that. And so that's lovely. It's called Reckless Abandon Productions, and that really suits my sensibility because I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm doing it.
Okay, so what was a most a memorable part of your job at that job or
Uh,
any job? Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
So what was the most memorable point at that job?
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had so many highlights and so many of these opportunities that I've had. But I guess really the most memorable thing is what I'm doing now collectively. I really enjoy working with students. I wasn't really going for that. I mean, I started adjunct teaching, and when I say I've done all of these jobs, they've all been sort of at the same time, kind of deal. Sometimes consecutively, sometimes all at the same time. And it depends on, the timing, how many, the days, the hours, whatever, but it all worked. And then I had an opportunity to get on here at the university full time, and that was not something that I was ever really looking for. But I was looking to make a change in my last job, and I was there for 9 years as the public affairs officer for a federally funded transportation planning agency, and I thought that was going to be an interim job. And so